common veins and the common eyes all see the same. Now, more than ever, all the family must be together.
My name is Vernon Williams, or Vernon X. These excerpts that I'm giving this evening are about accounts that I can recount about the Nation of Islam here in Sacramento. I got in the Nation of Islam here in 1969, and most of the elders that were here gave me their recounts about some of the things that happened here in Sacramento. I'd like to first start out saying thank you to Ali Productions, and this is Wali Ali Production. The first thing I would like to cover is that I was 13 years old when I first got in the nation. Brother Rayburn X used to come by the house and sell Muhammad Speaks. And my mother, we bought it because we were supporting black enterprises then. So one day, Brother John CX came over and he sat down and talked to us about what we were looking at in Muhammad Speaks. The thing that stood out to my mother the most was the do for self in the middle of the Muhammad Speaks. And my sister was, we were in the 60s trying to find the black experience. So my sister went to the mosque one day and came back home with a piece of bean pie, which we had never heard of. And so I looked at it, and we all looked at it, examined it, and we took a little snippet and tasted it, and next thing you know, half the pie was gone. Matter of fact, that Friday, my mother said, "You're going down there to see what this really is," because she liked it. She enjoyed what she heard. My sister was so ecstatic, she was so overwhelmed with joy that it made my mother's curiosity peak, especially when they had the FOI in the men training. And so we got cleaned up, and I was going to go to a party at Wilsey Wood Junior High School. I just had a cannabis connection, and I was going on my way to do something that never happened because of the Nation of Islam. And so I had a reefer in my, I put it in my hat. So when we came in the door, the brother wanted to check us. So I had to go back outside and take that back outside, and came in. And we just had no idea what we were in for. Because it was, you know, like church, you hear the music before you get to the door. Here, it was a man looking at me through a peephole. And there was a man to greet you at the door, and then another man to greet you in the check room, and then another man that met you that took you to your seat. So this was strange. But when I first came in there, the thing that stood out is that there was the blackboard. One side it had slavery, suffering, death in the American flag, and then you had freedom, justice, equality. You had Islam, the Star and Crescent. And in the middle it said, which one will survive the war of Armageddon? Now, that was enough it was enough of a question to put on my mind to have me real intensely, because I had no idea what I was in for. But it was a real good educational experience, because when the brother started talking about pork, the trichina worm, he had the book we first got in the nation, the hog, and it talked about the trichina worm, and he talked about the alcohol and the cigarettes and our eating habits and how we weren't taking care of ourselves, and to be a people to rise up against what was already perpetuated and taught to us by our slave masters. He introduced the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's program, which was very interesting. After we got through that Friday, we came back that Sunday, and that's when I met Saifuddin Mateen and Wali Mateen. I met them. They were the only kind of young kids around our age. But what it did, it just kept giving me more. I was more eager to learn about this Islam. Like my mother forced us to come first, and then my brother, oldest brother, said, "I don't like that black stuff." I liked that black stuff because I was into the black stuff. I was into the Black Student Union at Wilsey Wood, and Sam Purnell was my teacher the first year. The second year, he was my counselor. We helped open a couple of Black Student Unions over at Einstein and Gady. And so to hear what I heard it was something I had never heard before. I just had never heard anything like this. And the more I kept hearing, the more I kept getting intrigued by it. And the more I kept hearing it, the more I kept wanting to hear more of it. So after a couple of weeks of coming to the mosque, I took my letter out. I said, I want to write a letter. I want to do this. Because I went to FY class, and I seen the brothers in the FY class. And it was something I felt that I wanted to get into and do. So we first came into the mosque. It was on 8th Avenue and Martin Luther King, right across the street from the fire station. Then across the street, Mr. Brown had Brown's Barbershop, Tommy's Barbershop, and a beauty salon. And he used to subscribe to taking the Muhammad Speaks, selling Muhammad Speaks in his barbershop. So the thing that I'd like to talk about is some of my experiences, my early experiences. We first went to FY class, and I learned some stuff that I really felt I needed. It was something that, it was sort of a military training class. I was kind of aware of it because my father was in the military, so I kind of had a background with that. The other things that we learned were things about the knowledge. You were required to read the Message of the Black Man and How to Eat to Live. And so we started reading the Message of the Black Man and How to Eat to Live. So when I first started going to school, even t-shirt and jeans, I started wearing a bow tie, a white shirt, and a sweater, some slacks, and some shoes. And the first thing everybody said, why are you wearing your dress clothes to school every day? I said, well, I'm trying to be a Muslim, a Muslim. I said, a Muslim. Okay, so we went along with that, and my friends that I would be in the back having a little nip with and have a couple of puffs of marijuana, I wasn't in there. And then I started sitting in the front of the class. And the teacher said, Vernon, why are you in the front of the class? I said, because I want to hear what you have to say. And she said, why are you dressed like that? I said, because I'm trying to be a Muslim. So everybody went into shock about me making this transformation, trying to be a Muslim. So it went on, and it was a teacher that made comments, Mr. Cassidy, his name. He said, "Asalami baloney salami" to me. And I was very, very offended. So I asked one of the brothers, I said, what do you do when somebody disrespects your religion? He said, hit him in the mouth. So it probably wasn't the best thing to say, but as it was, I was very frustrated. And he put on some cartoons about with the saucers and the black people with the saucers in their mouths, and being buffooned. And he told me "Asalama baloney salami," and I hit him in the mouth. So I went to the office, and everyone was following me to the office, and so the counselor and the principal asked me why they hit him. I said, because he disrespected my religion. He said, what religion is that? And I said, that's the religion of Islam. So I went to my locker, and I went and got a Muhammad Speaks and brought it back and let them look at it. Now, mind you, some of them, their neck got a little red around the neck here. When they seen the metal of Shilas and the filth and the devil, they had a devil head, and the tail was all over the United States of America. So they were a little offended, they were a little confused about, how they become the devil. I said, well, if you blew up a church with little black children in it that hadn't did anything, they were praying to the same Jesus that you pray to on Sunday. The question is, where was God in all that? What Jesus was that? They had no answer for him. And so Jesus, I said in church, in Revelations, it talked about he had eyes like fire, skin like bronze, hair like sheep's wool. Revelation talked about, the church of Tyre said, what did Jesus look like? I said, well, why is he with the blonde hair and blue eyes? Where is God? Why are you saying God look like that when he don't look like that? So it was like an interrogation for a whole hour. They had me in the office, and I was just answering their questions about Islam. This Islam that I grabbed a hold of. Most of my friends, I lost most of my friends. The brother that's helping me film is Yusuf Ali. We went to school together, and he says he doesn't remember it. But they said, what is Vernon? He said he's a Muslim now. And Yusuf Ali, like I said, he could defend himself, so I couldn't whoop him. But he didn't make mockery of him. He just said I was a Muslim, whatever that entailed. And then years later, he became a Muslim. And so we grabbed and hugged each other. That is one of the most breathtaking, most beautiful things that ever happened in my life, is that Yusuf Ali was with me when I was in grade school, when I first became a Muslim. And I really thank him now, for being here, helping me film this, and being my brother and friend, and just being that we've grown old together. So now here we are.
What was his name back then?
Barry Nesbitt. I didn't want to say that because I didn't know if that would offend you. I started losing a lot of friends, and then, like I said, there wasn't that many children there, so I went out selling Muhammad Speaks, door to door. I don't understand the brothers these days in the Nation of Islam who sell them in the middle of the street, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us to sell it door to door. That's what we did. We went and sold Muhammad Speaks door to door, because you could sit down and talk to people. You had time to sit down and talk to, answer questions, and explain some of the things that were what the Nation of Islam entailed, what the program was. And then when you looked on the back, you see the wants of the beliefs. So I started learning how to sell Muhammad Speaks, because I really wasn't that good at it with a bow tie and a suit selling a paper. I sold the Sacramento Observer in our neighborhood. I did that for years. Like I said, my parents were those who supported black enterprises, and we in Sacramento these days, when we were kids, we all supported black, like Seaborn's Cleaners, Lawson Shoe Hospital, J.R. Smith. There was a lot of other people who had businesses, and then we all patronized each other. We kept our money in our own circle of people, black people in Sacramento. So selling it, Sacramento Observer was one of the things that my mother had me do. If I'm gonna sell a paper, she didn't want me selling the Sacramento Bee. She said, you sell the Sacramento Observer, because this is giving information to black people, and then you're serving a purpose in keeping our money involved in our community. So selling a paper now with a bow tie and a suit was kind of different. And I got mocked by my friends walking down the street. Vernon, what are you doing selling a paper in a suit? I said, this is how they do it. But they just scratched their head like, we can't figure out why. So there was a lot of questions, and I was going through a real trying period, a period they call processing, that you go through before you get your eggs. And it is a process, because you have to learn. There's a lot you have to really learn before you actually get that X to say, I'm a Muslim, And today, I really, really, really understand, I see, and, time changes things. I mean, you start to really grow, see, and understand. And now I'm really grateful for going through that process in the nation, that processing process through the nation, because it helped me all the way today, even right here, right now. Going through school, like I said, I lost a lot of friends, and there wasn't many young people there. It was mostly a lot of older people. And Brother Arthur X. Turner, a brother named Isaiah Thompson, he came to a meeting one Friday. He was a cement finisher. He was working on BART. And so I was kind of getting a little despondent, because there wasn't any young kids. So he introduced me to, he went out to El Paso Heights and introduced me to Brother Arthur Turner. He was a mailman, and he took me over his house, and I met him. He had 5 boys and 1 girl. And then his brother, Brother William X, had 5 girls and 1 boy. So they were coming to the nation back, I think he got in the nation, Brother Arthur, in 1959, as he told me. And his brother came from Detroit and came out here and got in the nation in 1960. And I think the minister, they said that was, the minister then was Brother Hassan. He used to be the minister in Stockton, in the nation. Well, he was in the Bay Area, but then he got assigned to the mosque in Stockton. Right now, I just can't think of his slave name, but it was Brother Hassan. Anyway, these brothers told me about the meetings they used to hold in El Paso Heights. Brother Isaiah took me by on Roanoke and Branch, where Brother Sam X. Coleman used to have meetings there. So I didn't know they used to have meetings there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I went out there a couple of times to the meetings out in El Paso Heights, and there was, he introduced me to Sister Letha X. Van. She stayed right across the street from Gunther's Ice Cream. And to today, I still don't understand. I don't even try to figure it out. How she would never be at the mosque, but then when we would come by and visit, she would know what was said. And it just scared me to death. So, and she was the type person, she had those dentures and stuff, and she would take them out and start talking to you. She'd give you one of them old woman, one of them old woman kisses, you know what I mean? The ones that your mother, my mother would look at me like, don't you wipe that off, kind of kisses. And so she used to grab me by my hand and set me down and talk to me. And so a lot of the stuff that I know, like before my 1969, is, the accounts of the older believers, the stuff that they told me, because I wanted to know, like, what was it like? Or what did you guys go through? And they told me some of their experiences, and I was like, man. So what I was going through was nothing compared to what they had went through back in the 40s and 50s, So I met Brother Arthur, I met his sons, and the brother taught me how to sell Muhammad Speaks in El Paso Heights. And so we went door to door in El Paso Heights selling Muhammad Speaks. So I got up to selling 50 Muhammad Speaks a week, just between my neighborhood, Oak Park, and El Paso Heights.
What neighborhood?
Glen Elder, Oak Park, and El Paso Heights. So the brother introduced me to a lot of older believer, Brother Frank X, who stayed on, I think, 6th Avenue and 34th. Brother Enoch X. I'm trying to think. Brother Charles 2X. Brother William 2X used to make a squash pie. Before I knew about a bean pie, like I said, the real hit pie was squash pie. And it was a real thick one, like a Marie Callender pie, And bean pie was kind of, Seyfriedin and told me about when I went to the meeting that Sunday. He's the one that told me about the carrot pie, Seyfriedin Mateen. And he started telling me about, I said, a carrot pie. I said, what is a carrot pie? So he went and got a piece of carrot pie and brought it back. Okay, as usual, I lost my mind. Okay, and then the brother brought a piece of squash pie over. I didn't want the bean or carrot. I just wanted a piece of squash pie. When I grew up in what they call the Avondale section of Sacramento, which is they call the Flats, Sister Blanche was a Muslim, and I always seen her wear her hair covered all the time. They never let me in the house, and I always wondered why. And when I found out that when I seen her at the mosque that 2 weeks ago, because I've known her sons all the time when we were in the Jalalil, I went and told them, I said, man, why are you guys scared to tell them you're a Muslim? They said, you a Muslim too? And they just dropped their heads. My brother was with me, he dropped his head. I just couldn't put it in my heart to drop my head. I was proud to say I was a Muslim. I was proud to say that I had joined an organization that was all black, God was black, you know, Jesus was black, everything black. You know what I mean? So that was cool with me. I was all right with that. And I had some fisticuffs. He took a little of this, you know. Back in the day, you know, people just didn't have a real respect for it, you know, until you had to just let them know that you weren't going to be moved or you weren't going to be bullied. So I wasn't bullied, so I found myself getting in a lot of fights, you know, with people. You know, I felt they were disrespecting me. So the brother took me up to San Francisco and took me to FY class there. And that was the most resilient. I met Minister Majid, Henry Majid, and Captain Jerry. He was working at McClellan then. I think they brought him up from Sacramento to be the captain in San Francisco. So I went to a FOI class, and the brother that was a captain here in Sacramento, John 12X, he said, Mr. Muhammad makes men, strong men. They put 500 pounds on a bench press. He took his jacket off and got up. He hit it 5 times and put it back and sat down and put his jacket back on and sat with his left hand over his right hand. And I was like, wow. Brother Herbert, brother got shot. There was an altercation with some what they call lost found Negroes. And he got shot in his leg, you know, when his leg was, you know, sort of messed up. But he just talked about his experience. I met a lot of different brothers. Brother William 5X, which brother was with magnificent hair, with the hair products, the Afro Sheen. I met a lot of brothers there. And when I went to the FOI class in San Francisco, it just kind of opened me up to just, you know, grab another stronger faith. As we went along, my mother, 1970, we went to Savior's Day in Chicago, and the day before, I seen all the captains in the Nation of Islam, Sister Porter Portia, Sister Mamie Hutter from down in Los Angeles, and Sister May Helen, that was Sister Nisi Islam. They were all at the table with Honorable Elijah Muhammad's wife, Sister Claire Muhammad. So she seen me, we were having dinner at the Salam restaurant. I walked by her, she said, brother, come here. I said, I'm like him. So she came and grabbed and hugged me. Now, I don't have any hair now, but what I'm saying is that I had sweat coming all off my face, and Mr. Farrakhan was there. She said, baby, why are you sweating? I said, sister, we ain't supposed to touch sisters. And you know, I'm like Muhammad's wife, and I'm looking around for the FY to come put me. You know what I mean? So Mr. Farrakhan came and got me. He said, brother, you all right? He said, you all right? He said, Dr. Elijah Muhammad, my wife want to hug you. He said, brother, you all right? And then all the sisters, Mamie Hutter and all the sisters said, brother, you all right? You all right? It's kind of calmed me down because I was about to cry. Because I didn't know, I said, man, I didn't mean to do no, because I'm thinking, I said, man, I didn't mean to do no wrong. She hugged me, I didn't hug her. And you know, I'm playing the Sedera out, man, listen, I want to get put out the nation. I like, you know, then Mr. Farrakhan took me to the side, calmed me down, gave me a hug, and then he talked to me, then I calmed down. And so I left, and all the sister captains gave me the greetings, gave my mother the greetings and stuff. And so Savior's Day, I said, if I'm out here selling these papers for, you know, I want to see this man. So the brothers were standing in line. There's a line of brothers on both sides. and it's like an exit up to the stadium, up to the podium, and then his brothers all around, sitting all around on posts. So when he came down, I said, I got to see him. So the brothers, I parted, there was a gap between their legs, and I seen him. And then he seen me, and then Don Elijah Muhammad just got down and grabbed me, and the brothers opened up, and I was just sitting there, and I'm like a deer in the headlights. He gave him, shook my hand. I said, Salaam alaikum, young brother. I said, Walaikum salam. Walaikum salam. Yeah, Gerald the Apostle, yes, yes. So when the brothers gaffled me all up and took me back to my, I said, I wouldn't even listen, but they said, matter of fact, I didn't wash my hand for 2 weeks, you know. Because I touched Elijah Muhammad's hand. Man, I came back to Sacramento, I was with a vengeance selling Muhammad Speaks, man, you know. So it just gave the spirit. Here's Sister Clara Muhammad, I got you to hug me. And I touched Elijah, man, you couldn't, listen, I was on one, as they say. I was on the path. And so my mother, her friends, most the people that were coming to the nation, like Grady Armstrong, May Holman, and there's a lot of people that my mother talked to about the nation, and they joined the nation. Johnny Marlowe, these people were all with the Oak Park PAC. There was an organization, a community-based organization in Oak Park, with Blanche Hill. And so Blanche didn't join, but she always brought up Muhammad Speaks. She was always a sympathizer. And Callie Carn, they were always sympathizers to the nation because they seen the work that they were doing in the community. The biggest thing that really was appealing, you know, in the nation in the early days is that, you know, they seen the brothers in the community. And that we were just, like, you know, Brother James 67X. Okay, listen, I'm going to tell Brother James 67X when he come, he going to get you, you know, because, you know, single mothers. And so Brother James 67, okay, and they get fear, and the kids get, you know, get that shame, you know, because you know you done wrong, you know, she going to tell. Brother James, now he did something, and he was acting up at school, and the mothers, you know. So a lot of times, you know, the brothers in the nation were like social workers, brothers, fathers, and friends to a lot of people. It's just like the way they sell drugs now in the neighborhoods now. Back in the nation, them days, they tell you in a minute. These blocks here, you know, you want to come here and do something good, fine. You come here to sell drugs, or you want to beat on women, or you want to prostitute women, you're going to get hurt. You know, and like Mr. Farrakhan said, they had a pipe crew in New York, you know what I mean? So it wasn't, you know, a thing like we had to take care of our own. We couldn't look for white people, we couldn't look for Christians, we couldn't look for nobody to take care of our problem. We need to take care of our own problem in our own community, and that's what we did such. But the whole thing about it, like I said, you know, you can chastise a child, you don't hate them. You just need to tell them that's wrong. And when they want to do something right, and just bring them on. So there was a lot of people that were starting to join the nation. Like after, like I said, in 70, I went to Mosque number 26B with Brother Rabe, Billy X, and Yusuf Bey, which is Joseph X, Captain. And I, for a whole year,
Where is that?
in Oakland, California. And so we went to FOI class up there, and I met him. And then Brother Nadar Ali, my brother was going to school, and she immediately took him out and sent him to Fresno, because Mosque number 39 had the school, Muhammad University, down in, I think Marvin X and Nadar Ali started the school down there. And so they moved to Oakland, so they started school in Oakland. So we were the first students, some of the first students that opened the school, the Muhammad University in Oakland. And then the next year, we opened the school in San Francisco, right there on Fillmore and Geary. And so we were going, you know, to school in the Bay Area, and then coming home on the weekends. And so a lot of the brothers, like I said, every time we would come home, we see some new brothers. Brother Don FX, they sat, Brother Eugene was the minister then, and Brother Squad Leader Charles. And then they sent Brother his name was Don FX, and John 12X. He was the captain in Sacramento. And then we started seeing brothers come, Brother Alonzo, Sister Patsy, Brother Shahid was in the military. I used to park cars, and he had a souped up GTO, him and Brother Miguel, and they were coming up in from Marysville. Brother Emery, Brother Dale, Brother Ivan, they used to refer to him as Ivan the Terrible. But Brother Halim, he came to the nation. I came there, and here he was with a suit at the door, peeking through the window, and I was shocked. I said, "Man, I used to see him in the park, in Oak Park, really, really clowning out there, fighting and all that. Now he cleaned up, got a suit on, bow tie, and it was brothers, Brother Winford. When I first, I need to backtrack a little bit. Through that time, the first year, Brother John CX, Usher, who we had the black ice cream. We had the Asiatic snack shop on 35th Street. So I worked in there with him on the weekends. I work all weekend with him. I come stay with him and work him with the Asiatic snack shop. And we had the black ice cream. The ice cream, what it was vanilla, but it was black. And so it was like a mind snapper. People were like, man, it's just like, it was like it's like a trip, like a trip, it's black. So who knows what black tastes like? And then some brothers, what they call science, and back there, see, the black man, it's infinity, and all that, I said, yeah, okay. So you put a piece of black ice cream on top of a piece of bean pie warm out the oven, like Yusuf Ali's, some of y'all know Yusuf Ali's bean pie when it's hot out the oven, when you still feel the heat, and you put some black ice cream on it, you just about lose your mind, okay, in the euphoria. So we had beef burgers, what else did we have? I'm trying to think of it. Well, it was just a restaurant, we had dinners. I think for $7 a dinner, you can have a lamb or a fish, and you have fish, and so it was a nice thing. I learned a lot from Brother John CX. May Allah forgive him for his sins. He passed away, and I was at his funeral about 3 years ago. And so I'm doing this documentary talking about the stuff that happened is something that's imperative for me to do because these people made an impact on my life. I'm surviving here and with the knowledge of, from a loving, caring God, Allah, through these people. They said we're nothing until we love for our brothers and sisters, or we love for ourselves. And these people gave me a lot of love because they took me under their wings. These old people, these people that I've never met before in my life, and I've never been shown love like this from some people I've never met that were dead serious about love. And that's one of the things that kept us together was the love. We didn't have much or nothing. But the one thing that we always kept was the love for one another. We always laughed with each other. We played with each other. The kids. And, we always did everything together as a unit. And today it kind of hurts. I don't see it the way it used to be. But, we're still here now in our older age. And just like me doing the documentary now, just telling the history of it, is so other people can get inspired to do something too. Just have that same feeling. I would love everybody to have the same feeling I had when I first came to love. And that's why I took the name Wali, because it's a protecting friend. You want to show love to people, man. When I come by people's house, they say, Vernon, I was just thinking about you. If I can't do nothing, we can't do nothing. If we broke and got 2 nickels, we could have a glass of water, go pick some oranges off the tree, and we could sit there and laugh and talk about something, anything that you'd like to talk about, and we can always find joy in it. And I always try to find joy in everything I do, And this is some of the things that the Nation of Islam gave me. But back to John CX, the brother taught me a lot. Sister Brenda, that she taught me a lot about the bread. My mother made bread, and I got the recipe from Brother John CX. The recipe John CX had is what they call a national. recipe, for the bean pie, and it was very delicious, very delicious. So on the weekends, I would come home from school from the Bay Area and come home still working in the snack shop. And the thing that it really taught me is about business, about doing for self, And then, like I said, the people who came in the nation, like after we did, like after 70, 71, 70, 71, 72, there was a lot of people coming to the nation, an awful lot of people. So there was a lot of progression. When Brother Don FX was here, brothers were coming in. And then when he got sat down, there was Brother Benjamin that came. And then Brother Captain had got sat down. Before he got sat down, what we had did, we were working on the mosque. So we went down the street to Mr. Janikin in Schofield, right on the corner of 5th Avenue and 35th Street. And we told him what we were doing. We gave him Muhammad's speech, and he was a Shriner. So what he did, he gave us the building, the whole building. So that's the reason why we were upstairs on the 3rd floor with the mosque. And then the first floor, it was just sitting there. So we went downstairs, we went down on 47th, there was a drywall company. We went up on Franklin Boulevard and 26, hardware store. Seemed like everybody that we went to tell them what we were doing in Oak Park, people would say, well, matter of fact, we said, we'll come pick it. They said, no. Some people just said, brought their trucks and shipped it there to us. And we took everything. We took that old building, that musty building, with when it's moisture and dry rot and all that. We all got in there every day and tore that thing apart, stripped it out, gutted it. We had Brother Milton was a carpenter. We had Brother Will X Stokely, Brother Cleo X Smart. Those brothers had built the snack shop. They were doing the mosque and the snack shop at the same time. And we worked on that building. And so the thing is, when we worked on the building, it took us about 6 months, and we had to we did the building, they did the snack shop, and we opened the snack shop up, and then we opened the fish and chip. And so the fish and chip was doing so well that they thought they were selling drugs out of there. You can still ask people now about the fish and chip on 35th Street, and they can, if anybody has been around back then, those days, they can tell you that, man, that was some of the best fish and chip. I mean, A Salty didn't have anything on it. It was right here. Here you can come to Oak Park, get some fish and chip, fish sandwich. We had wings and things. We had the veggie sandwiches, beef burgers, hot links. So we did very well. After that, we went into the South area on 24th and 24th and Florin. There used to be a Safeways there. And we used to have a snack shop there. Up on Grand and Rio Linda, we had a snack shop there. On Stockton Boulevard, right across on the same side of Church's Chicken was the bakery. We had 4 vans that the brothers sold fish out of, and bean pies and eggs. We had we had the sister's shop next door upstairs on the same corridor. Then there had the MGT house upstairs. And then across the street, Brother Darul X was the manager over the Your Supermarket. And then upstairs, they were doing the school. We were building the school. So it was a hotel upstairs. So anyway, they would take the hotel and was making it a Muhammad City, because we were going back and forth to San Francisco. And so my mother brought us back home, brought me back home because of an incident I got into when I was 15. So they had to buy a bus, and then we started going back and forth to Muhammad University in San Francisco. until we got our Muhammad University built here. So we had 7 businesses going. Prosperity was really good in the community, and there's a lot of people coming in the nation. At one point, the masjid doors got kicked in by the police because of an incident that happened of a homicide, and so the morale kind of went down behind that, but everything stayed in place. I stayed in the nation until 1973. I was given time out. I was given insubordination. So I was a little angry behind some things that were going on there because the brothers being arrested and going to prison behind that incident. So I was out the mosque until 1975, and I came back when Imam Muhammad said, everybody on seat time or whatever can come back. So I came back, and Brother Dyrul was the Imam then, and Brother Majati, may Allah be pleased with him. He was one of the brothers that kind of brought me back to the mosque, because I was really kind of lost after that. They said Farad wasn't God, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, all them time I took my finger and put in the police barrel, and I just thought about that. That man could have killed me. But I told him that, man, this is Allah. You can't do it without Allah. This is how much I believed in Islam. The brothers, I believed in Allah. I believed in the brothers, the believers, and I believed in my people. And so being brought up with all that, that's all I knew. That's all I wanted to know. That's all I wanted to do. Go in the community, help. Just like when Sin Q did the thing with the Sinbidinese Liberation Army, when they did the thing with Patty Hearst. So they had $1 million. He said, "I want you to take $1 million and feed the people in Oakland." So the FBI came to the nation and told us, "Well, we want you guys to do the distribution." So the Nation of Islam, we had brothers in the middle of East 14th, lining people up, directing traffic. You got brothers in bow ties and suits doing traffic and all that, and they were handed out the food. So, alhamdulillah for that. That Nation of Islam was, it was really looked at being a real good thing. People could go to church, but they share like that Muslim fish and that Muslim bean pie. Mm-hmm. And they sure look good. Always smelling good, talking nice and stuff. And that's what they, that felt good, especially being a black person coming from degradation and dereliction and feeling like, like you're not a part of anything in America, other than being a buffoon or being a house nigga or something. And that ain't what I wanted to be. That was just not that's just not what it wasn't in my makeup anyway. Mm-hmm. The Prophet said that, the Prophet said, "Best is you in Jalil is best you in Islam." Well, my daddy, my parents are from Kutchu, Texas, and so we didn't have that, mentality. My mother had a black agenda, and she wanted her sons to have a black agenda. You be somebody to be. My mother wanted us to be in the Nation of Islam, to be proud, so she could be proud of her sons turn out to be good black men, respectable black men. Black men that would, get married and have a family and just, and just be respectable, and get respected by everybody. Abu Elijah Muhammad told us to respect everybody, respect the law, respect everybody. But like Malcolm X said, they put your hands on you, send them to the cemetery. You know what I mean? So, we didn't go out and do nothing to anybody and all that. No. But if you fool with the nation, then the brothers would have their own way of taking care of it. You know what I mean? So, after then, like I said, when Dyrul was the imam, he kind of brought me back around. And so I've been around here a while, and I've been, in town, out of town. And the thing I want to say about Sister Blanche was Sister had the squash pie. I want to talk about Brother Enoch. Brother Frank, Brother Sam, Brother Isaiah Thompson, and all the other older believers who helped make me. I thank Allah for them. And then I thank Allah for the people that are in the community. We got our number, I think it's 73, Mosque number 73, and then they changed the name. You know, when Imam Muhammad came in office, changed the name to Masjid Sabur. So Masjid Sabur came from Mosque number 73, which came from Muhammad's Mosque, Sacramento, which was us. So right now, I want to thank Yusuf Ali. If he has any questions he'd like to ask me.
Well, I'd like to know a little bit of the chronological history of who the first minister and what time period, the second. You know, you kind of went through that, but I'd like to just hear it kind of in order.
Brother Andrew was here with your brother. Now, this is what the recounts of Brother Arthur and Brother William told me that he was here like in 1958 and 59. And then when I came in 69, okay, there was Brother Eugene X, and then there was Brother Don FX, then there was Minister Benjamin 3X.
Was that Nuruddin?
Nuruddin, yes, Nuruddin. And then after that, I think there was another brother, but then Darul became the imam.
Yusuf Wakia out of Oakland.
Oh, yeah, Yusuf Wakir, yes. Yeah, he came down from Oakland, yes. And then Darul.
Right.
Yeah.
Then Enrique.
Well, then afterwards, like I said, it was in. After then, like I said, I would have people to tell. You know what I mean? Tell the half I'm telling is about the half before. Before the transfiguration,
right.
Before everybody, got behind Imam Muhammad. Now that part of it, like I said, I can't tell it all because I'm kind of here and, I was kind of in and out of Sacramento.
Right.
But I was here with, Darul, Wakir, Darul, Enrique, now you're gonna have to help me with this. Enrique,
Daoud Salam.
Daoud Salam, Omar Sharif.
It might have been Bilal.
But yeah, Bilal, Jamil.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere kind of.
Bilal and
Jamil was kind of around the same. Yeah. Yeah. Now that part of the history of all that, like I said, I'm a little weak on that part because I'm just speaking about the parts that I actually live and I was, I came up with and we're here. Right. The rest of it, like I said, I told the other brothers that you're gonna have to do the other half, of the history.
Well, let me ask you this question: how about your father, who was our little league baseball coach, the Dodgers?
Right.
How did he take to?
Now it's a funny thing that you asked me, because you're gonna bring it out. Okay. My mother went to the meeting that Friday, right? So by that Sunday, she took her letter out. So she came home, and my father was a butcher and stuff. He works, but so she had $700 worth of hog in the freezer. She took it all and threw it in the backyard. So then my daddy called my uncle, her brother, and said, your sister done went to this Muslim thing, and she done lost her mind. Because she sit up and throwing all the meat. No, tell her I'll come get it this weekend. No, put it back in the freezer. Tell her you better come get it quick, because I ain't putting no more pork. We ain't going to eat no pork. We ain't going to eat no white bread. We ain't eating no grits. She laid it all down, but we wasn't going to eat. So my daddy brought it back in and put it in the freezer. My mother turned around, have us taking it right back out. She opened the front door, opened the back door, so we just drop it out, just keep walking around the fence, come back in the garage, get some more pure, and throw it right back out in the backyard. Mm. So, like when my uncles came to get it, and then, here they go, families back in those days, like when you first became a Muslim, they're like, oh my God, holy Jesus, you know, my teeth falling all out. Oh, give my blood pressure medicine. Oh, holy Jesus, oh, they don't believe in Jesus no more. You said Jesus was a prophet. We tried to explain to them. Oh, Jesus, God love it. So she got to throw in that holy water on. Oh, get behind these Satan and all that. And listen. I'm a Muslim, and I'm gonna be a Muslim. So if you don't like me being a Muslim, then you don't have to come here no more. And so for a while we had to, remove ourselves from our family, because they were, like Muhammad said, they were deaf, dumb, and blind. And then after they started eating that curry chicken, there was some recipes that Farad Muhammad taught, Sister Clara. It was that curry chicken over rice. They take a chicken, cut it up, and take a stick of butter, chop up some bell peppers, onions, and celery, and you let it cook real slow for about 3 hours with some rice. And oh my God, and you do it with curry. So once these people ate that, one thing about it, you might have to read on Jesus, but Jesus sure served you right when it came down to some curry and some bean pie. They understand it started getting a little bit better. You know what I mean? So then it got so to the point where they started giving my mother and us a lot of respect because we didn't waver with it. We didn't waver with it. We didn't let them. We just didn't. We didn't let them do anything. I mean, we stayed fast. It's just like you, Yusuf. My story ain't nothing compared to any time a man could tell the United States Army, go to hell, I'm gonna be a Muslim. Yusuf had the same, Yusuf Ali, Barry Nesbitt, same person, is the person who had the same kind of understanding that I had about Islam. He had it in his heart. That's why when Allah talks about the matter of the heart, it's so sensitive a thing. I mean, that real vulnerable place. Yeah, I put Allah in that most vulnerable place. So, so he's Akbar. And the way we grew up in the neighborhood, we grew up, didn't nobody, there was no chumps out there, man. You had to stand up for what you believed in something, you know what I mean? If you believed in something back in the day, now people talk about, oh, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, and it's all right now. Back in them days, you had to stand up. You had to put some work in, So I put a lot of work in, and I'm still out here working. Where you see me now, I'm still doing this,
Okay, how about the brothers in Glen Elders? Brother Lonnie Simmons.
Yeah, Lonnie. When Lonnie came in, yes. No, he came in after us.
After, okay.
Yeah, because most of all the brothers that come now and stuff, and that they all came after we came in. Like I said, none of them were there. Like I said, the sister Blanche was, like Tijuana and Kenny, the mother. She was the only one. She was right in our neighborhood, right down the street. So she was the only one. They still came around that was from our neighborhood. Right. And then, like I said, Brother Lonnie came in, and then Milton, and then Patsy, and then their whole family, started. Right. So it's just like Dyru's family. I think his sister went, and then he came, and then their whole family came in. So then people were just kind of coming in like that, like saying, yeah, it was like a new thing, especially after they had destroyed the Black Panthers. So then the Muslim had just kind of opened up a vacuum. So, everybody was, like jumping with your nation, said, but man, look, first thing, you got a God, and you got a program, you got economics, you got discipline, you got cleanliness, you know what I mean? So there were so many things that the Nation of Islam offered the community that even right now, people still talk about and mimic Minister Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam. I mean, even back in those days, even up to now, you know what I mean? The Nation of Islam has had an effect on, the United States of America, our culture here in America. It's just like I seen a thing about 100, I think for what would they Martin Luther King's birthday, and I seen 100 most influential people. I didn't see Elijah Muhammad in it. I don't know why. I don't understand that. Anytime you had some people from jail to Yale that that you got them off drugs. I Elijah Muhammad got more people off dope and alcohol than anybody I know. I mean, rehabs and Elijah Muhammad, you know, he's brother Clarence Cody. He said he shot dope right up there on 35th Street above the Momo Club. He shot dope for 40 years, and I used to see him and stuff. You know, going to get drugs and stuff. You know, you see. One day he came to the mosque when Minister Benjamin was there, and took his letter out, and he went and got him some dentures. And he was one of the main cooks over at the Shabazz fish and chip. You know, he became Brother Fahim was there, Brother Adam and Fahim were there, and then Brother Clarence Cody became the main cook there. He said, I shot dope for 40 years and I couldn't get off dope. He said, man, I hear a program by a little man from Chicago that with a 3rd grade education that got me off dope. It did a lot of good. It did a lot of good in our neighborhood growing up. People, once they seen that we were steadfast and seen, it's kind of like a show me thing. When we start getting the businesses, the brothers start selling fish. And like I said, the sheriffs used to come on Stockton Boulevard, Martin Luther King and Fruit Ridge. And then the brothers said the sheriffs used to come over there with their cars and run over the eggs and pies and stuff. You know, just trying to, you know, get something started, you know. So it was like a build-up of tension before that incident happened. There was a build-up of tension, you know, because like police didn't want us. They want the brothers out there. Here we out there selling. The brother A on the corner in White, hey, selling eggs and fish, and then people would come by and get 5 pounds of fish, 10 pounds of fish, and get you some bean pies, get you some eggs and stuff. And then we had Brother Darrell was the manager over at the Your Supermarket, so we had fresh produce, and we had meat and all that over there at the Your Supermarket. Yeah.
So do you ever see that spirit coming back?
Yeah, it's coming back.
All right.
Yeah, it's coming back. Yeah, it's coming back. The thing about it, it's coming back because they ain't never left. You know what I mean? Sometimes something, you know, you can throw some dirt on something, you don't know it's there until you wipe the dirt off. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I see the spirit coming back because, you know, the evolution of what we've been through in America, it's just like I read an article in the Sacramento Observer yesterday about the little girl in Pleasant Grove saying that they see swastikas and Nazi signs and all that. It ain't never left. It ain't never left. It's just that, you know, people don't got comfortable doing this, and, you know, your phones and your remote control and the refrigerator and all that. And you don't got to relax and say, well, yeah, that's a shame. But it's a shame till they come to your doorstep. Now you want to do something. So now it's black people in America. You know, and Elijah Muhammad said, do for yourself before you have it to do. So the Spirit's here to get it done. You know, it's like Tabitha in Bewitched. You know, Tabitha had all the, oh my God, you know, she had all that power. Just, you know, it's like these kids, they got the power, you know, they got the power. Just need to be redirected, you know, the energy, you know what I mean? So it's like people like yourself, like you and I, you know, we know how we were when we were young. We get the Spirit just like they had the Spirit. It's just like now, you know, my father passed away and my mother, you know, has Alzheimer's. You know, a lot of our parents are passing away and stuff. So now we the old people now, you know what I mean? So thank you, Yusuf, for pushing me to do this interview.
We've been waiting a long time for it.
Yeah. And like I said, he told me, where'd you write it down? I said, I haven't wrote it down, it's just all here.
Right.
And with all due respect, with anybody watching this, with all due respect, when you got information from old people, you had to come sit down, let them take their time and break it down for you. You couldn't rush them. You had to take your time and listen. And my mother, I thank God for my mother giving me that patience for old people. Like Negroes, kids, and dogs, I'm good with them. And like old people and children, yeah, my mother, I was just Allah just blessed me with a talent. Just, like I said, with Negroes, kids, and dogs, and others, and just know how to, I don't know, just do your thing, man. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know, what can I say? I just say that the old people that came and gave it to us, you had to sit down and get it like a class. It's like I tell the young people now, you got to make your appointments with people now like me. You got to make your appointments, man. This girl, you ain't got to feed. We can have, like I said, we can have some oranges. We can have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and some water.
Right.
My biggest thing, as long as we got each other here. That's the most biggest thing. Just give me a glass of water, and I'm good. Just as long as we got it here. Yusuf and I, is a good example. Yusuf had these pancakes he used to make with butter and honey. And I ain't never had nothing like that.
You remember that,
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I ain't that see now. I'd come by the house, do a drive-by. I said, man, I got to go see Yusuf. Because he's a wealth of knowledge. And a lot of brothers and sisters now that are younger than me, they're wealths of knowledge. And so I sit amongst them and let them teach me about the deen. Anything they want to teach me about the deen, the hadith, the Quran, whatever, I'm good. But, the brother Charles had told me when I first got here, he said, listen, it's through understanding and application that it works. If you don't understand how it works, he said, man, you might as well put a cross on and go to Jesus. And he said that back in 1969. And he's right. It's a lot of learned people, but do they have the understanding? And then how it works. Okay, now let me give you an example. How much land do we got? Okay, how much are we growing any food? Do we have an economical plan that we can all work together with? Can we all, how many miles do we have together that are functionable, that we can actually act upon what we know that we've been taught by our Lord? And that's where I'm at with it. I grew my food right on 6th Avenue in Miller, man. Brother Ronald, he was a brother in the nation in San Francisco. And so I used to see him when they started knocking down the buildings in San Francisco. And I used to see this brother up here with dreadlocks growing food. And I thought, I said, it's crazy, but it ain't crazy. Because I'm looking at first I seen him out there with a rototiller and stuff, putting seeds down. I leave 2 months and come back to San Francisco down Fillmore Street. He got stuff coming up, almost 6 foot corn coming up. I mean, he got tomatoes and green beans and squash, and he got all that stuff coming up. I said, wow. And I remember, I didn't know that was him. That I just forgot that was the brother, Miller Man, was the man, they call him Miller Man, was the one that, and he and I got together, we started growing our food right there on 6th Avenue, 7th Avenue, right there in Martin Luther King. We call it inner city farming, you know what I mean? And I was with Corey and some other brothers, the Israel Farms and stuff. And so, we're doing some stuff. So, yeah. I just do what I know, what I was taught how to do and stuff. And people say, well, I ain't no farmer and all that. Well, right now with a president like we got now, it's best that we take another thought about how we're going to survive here.
And we're talking about Donald Trump.
Yeah, Donald Trump, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's all right. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Be who he is. You know what I mean? But it's black people in general, man, it's, I'm not even talking about black people. I'm talking about the Muslims. We got to get up on the ball with it, I mean, as far as economics and, food, fresh food. I mean, at the masjid over the lighthouse, they have people who bring with you people who grow organic food, and they have actually they come and bring it, milk and stuff like that. So we got to start taking care of ourselves more, in our communities, because When I came in there, like I said, 1969, we took care of our own. When I was in San Francisco and Oakland, with Yusa Bay and all that, we took care of our own. You know, so you just, you know, I would like to see that exercise more. You know.
All right. Before we close out, I want to drop one more name, Jimmy Bouton.
Jimmy Bouton. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Jimmy.
Jamil Alain.
He tickled me to death. He teased me a little bit about, he's a Vernon. He's another one. He didn't rib me a lot, but that was your Yusuf Ali's sidekick, Jimmy Bouton, with Jamil. And he's another one. When he said he played drums, he was playing entertainer stuff, and he said, Vernon, I'm a Muslim now. I almost needed a nitroglycerin then. I said, you a what? He said, I'm a Muslim. I must have choked him, you know. Well, I was a lot bigger then. I hugged him and down almost took the wind out of it. So when he and Yusuf Ali, Yusuf Ali was the world traveler, Yusuf Ali would go out of the country and told his mother that my brothers would take care of me. And so I talked to his mother about it. She used to cry and tell me, I said, sister, he gonna be all right. I said, he'll be back. He'll be back. That whole time he was gone, I used to go by his mother's house and say he'd be all right. So when he got back and him and Jamil were together and they were Muslim, and so they had all these experiences. They had been out the country. So I used to come over to Yusuf Ali and Jamil's house and, man, just sit there and be in class. I just thought, I mean, it was just like being in class with these two cats, you know, because Yusuf could fight. Yusuf always could fight. You know, he's good with his hands. And to see him just he wasn't a bad person like a Willie Book, but if you stepped to him, you know, he wasn't going to run, is what I'm saying. And he accepted Islam like that, you know. And just seeing how humble, I'm just seeing just Islam in him, all the humility. Jamil, all the humility. But then all the love with that humility. It makes you not want to go home at night, you know. Sometimes, you know, I want to spend the night, man, wake up and just, you know, make salat with them, man, and, you know, eat something in the morning with them, man, just to, you know, get some more, what we call water, you know, knowledge is water, you know what I mean? So, those, you know, thank you for having me bring that up too, because like I said, a lot of times I'm getting old, I had a stroke, and I can't remember. I'm glad I'm doing this now because, you know, like I had a stroke and like I said, and a lot of stuff I don't remember. I can't, well, it doesn't come up like it used to. So I'm, you know, just trying to do the best I can while I'm working with.
You're doing real good.
Is there any more questions?
I don't have any offhand, but...
Oh, well, all I need to do is just listen, the people who listen to this tape about the information that was given, it was just the information that was given to me by my elders, and it's been my experience. That's the only thing I can tell you about. Thank you. Good night.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
All right.
Peace go with your brother. Don't make no sense for us to be arguing now. Time is right up on us now, brothers. Don't make no sense for us to be arguing now. All of your children and all of my children are gonna have to pay for our mistakes someday. Yes, and until then, may peace guide your way. Yeah. Peace go with your brother wherever you go. Peace go with your brother.